All right, our returning champion Brian playing against our newcomer Chris. We'll see how this fares in the next round here. Chris admiring Brian's sleeves, or dragon shields. Getting a 7. An 11. Brian opting to go second. Does get him that extra energy marker, which could be enough to put him ahead. Brian opting to attack in with his leader right away, with no combo. Chris taking it. They're both off to a good start by the looks of it. They've each gotten a chance to draw a card off their respective battle cards that they threw in. Chris charging up another energy. And using one. Play Gohan Childhood. To look at the top 3 and add Future Trunks to hand. Expending another energy for the turn to bring out Raditz. Chris attacking in with lead, drawing and no combo. Brian using his on-field battle card to combo in, preventing the attack from Chris's lead Gohan. Attacking in with Raditz and Brian comboing with another Trunks. Chris passes turn over to Brian. Brian throwing a Vegito down as energy. Drawing a card off a 15k attack into Chris's leader. Chris opting to combo with the Gohan. Tapping 1 to play Goten to bounce the Raditz back to Chris's hand. Brian passes there, leaving 2 energies standing, one being the energy marker. Could be that he has an extra card in hand. Chris using 3 of his energy, playing the Future Trunks he had at the hand earlier. Attacking 15 into lead, no combo. Brian opts to use the Goten that he has on field. Chris passes turn to Brian on that. Brian swinging 15 into lead, drawing a card. Chris using Trunks. Brian uses 3 energy and the energy marker to play Goku Black. So Brian declares attack, which allows him to bottom deck a card with 2 cost or less. And as you saw, he got rid of Chris's Goku. Placing another energy down. Playing that same Son Gohan from before. Playing 3. Playing the top card from deck to energy. Spending 1 more energy to play the Raditz yet again. Brian holding 6 cards in hand. Chris calculating what it is he's gonna dump into combo here. Going 15. No combo into lead. Brian takes it. First hit of the match on his end. 15 more to lead. No combo. Brian uses the Gotenks from hand. Charging another Gotenks. $15 into lead, using the effect of his leader to draw a card. And declares no combo. Chris opting to use the Gohan. Playing the Vegito to bottom deck the Raditz. He just does not want to see the Raditz on field. So Vegito reducing the cost of Trunks' Goku Black attack can now bottom deck the Trunks that Chris had because its cost is 2 or less. Very good combo there. Swinging 25 with Vegito into leader, no combo. Chris decides to take that one as well, and Brian passes the turn back to Chris. Chris draws a card for turn. Playing another Gohan into charge. On play, KO is a card 4 or less cost. And uses his last energy to bring back a Son Goku. Brian with 6 cards in hand. Chris will attack into Vegito with the lead to draw a card and then awakens to draw another card. Combos with the Nappa and the Goku for a total of 35. Brian is super comboing, keeping the Vegito on board. Chris using his last battle card to attack into the Vegito. Taps 1 to use the Gallic Gun, keeping his Vegito in play, getting to draw a card if he has 7 cards or less in hand. Keeping that very valuable Vegito in play is definitely crucial for Brian right now. Brian attacking in with 15. Just for the sake of drawing. His power level is weaker than Gohan, but he doesn't get any sort of penalty attacking in. Brian opts to tap all 5 of his resources. Playing the classic Double Strike Vegeta. Vegeta on play has a bottom deck effect. In tandem with the Vegito, is able to reduce the cost of the card, making the target that Chris bottom deck eligible for Vegeta's on play effect. Brian passes over to Chris. Chris has got plenty of energy to utilize here, and hopefully that's enough to bring him back in the game. With only 3 life remaining, it's not looking good for Chris at this stage in the game. Opting to tap all but 1 to play his Gohan Childhood, adding a card to life from the top of his deck. Chris opting to attack 20k into Vegito, drawing a card off the attack declaration. Needing to combo in more for 25. With Vegito also being 25. It's not going to take much for Brian, and he just gives up the Vegito like that. Gohan attacking into the other Vegeta battle card, 35 to 35. Chris is not going to combo. Brian will, keeping the Vegeta in play. I think at this stage it would have been better for Chris to dedicate more resources to get that Vegeta off the board, because it is a double strike. Especially with Chris constantly being the punching bag in this match so far. I think he needs to do his best to stay ahead in this game. Brian doing the same tactics before, tacking in with his lower power level leader into Chris's leader just to simply draw a card. The thing with his leader is it's fully dependent on him having fewer cards in hand to get a power boost once it's awakened. But he can't awaken until he has 4 life or less. And at this stage, Brian's really just biding his time to build a bigger board while he waits for Chris to strike him down or to get stronger. Brian playing the Pilaf to bring an Earthling back to hand, in this case the Trunks, and plays the Trunks to then draw a card. Classic move. Tapping 3 more of his energy. Bring out another Vegito. Immediately using the Vegito to attack into leader, comboing in his Trunks for an even 30. Chris needing to combo at least 10k, but he'll just take that one. Vegeta going 35 into Gohan, combo with Pilaf. Brian just whittling down Chris's forces here. But Chris has got plenty of energy at his disposal, so hopefully that's enough to get him back in the game. Chris dedicating all of his energy into a Broly card, KOing the Vegeta, which is a good move because that Vegeta is going to cause him problems if he doesn't get it off the board sooner rather than later. With it being a double strike, it is very, very powerful this stage in the game. Chris declaring attack into Vegito, pitching 1 of his energy to bring it up to 35. And then he gets to draw off the attack. Brian will let it go. Broly for 45 into lead. Brian chooses to take it. Broly effect. To attack again for 45. Brian will take this one too. Chris passing turn back to Brian now. Brian just doing a life check, making sure that he's picked up enough life cards in this game. Because it has been moving a little bit slow on Brian's end, as far as him losing life. Brian throwing another card down to charge up. Chris holding 11 cards in hand. That's the nice thing about this card game. You have an unlimited hand size, so you can just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. Which decks like Brian's stands to benefit quite a bit in keeping their hand smaller, with a lot of the effects relying on you having 7 or fewer cards in hand. Brian attacking into lead yet again, lower power level, free draw, plays Gallic Gun on top of that. Drawing another card off Gallic Gun for holding 7 or fewer cards in hand. Bringing his attack up to 45k. Will Chris combo to keep himself from losing more life? He will throw some more cards down to save himself from taking this more damage than he needs to. Brian's still got plenty of energy open, and I think he's counting on Chris using up more of his cards so he can strike him down harder with whatever he has in his hand as follow-up. I do notice that he has another Pilaf, which he can use to bring back that same Trunks from earlier to get another draw off of it. Zamasu. Swings 25, drawing a card off of Zamasu. No combo. Chris will combo, though. He's desperate to not lose any more life. And there's the Pilaf. I imagine he's going to add the Trunks back. Oh, adding another Pilaf. Interesting. Plays the second Pilaf to then add Goten back to hand. And then he passes turn back to Chris. Chris charges another energy into the pile. Bringing out yet again the Son Gohan childhood, restoring a bit of his life off the top of his deck. Chris swinging into lead. Using its effect to send into Zamasu. Not lead. Attacking into Zamasu. Using its effect, pitching an energy, bringing its attack up to 35k. Brian super combos. Chris swinging it again into Zamasu for 35k. Using its effect, it dies, and then it comes back from the drop in rest mode. Chris declaring into Zamasu yet again with Broly for 45. Brian comboing everything on board, plus the Goten he just added back to hand to keep Zamasu back. Using Broly's effect to bring it back into play again, and attack into Zamasu yet again. Will Chris combo this time around, though? Brian's got 5 cards in hand. Chris is opting to no combo. Brian just lets it go. Turn goes back to Brian. With nothing on board, stands to reason that Brian might be able to come back with 5 more cards in hand still. Drawing another card off of the free attack. No combo into it. In hopes that he draws something more formidable. His lineup in his hand is all low power stuff, with the exception of the Vegito. Using 4, brings the Goku Black. Swings 30 into leader, no combo. Chris just takes it. And he's going to tap 3 more. And I take it he's going to drop the Vegito. Yep, there it is. Swinging 25k into leader, no combo. Chris comboing with the Nappa. Brian passes there. Attacking to lead, no combo, but Brian really throwing his whole hand into this, keeping his life above 5, which I don't quite understand. Brian finally taking the hit, which is about where he wants to be so he can awaken his leader. But keeping it at a low power level does allow him to keep drawing cards, which is a very interesting tactic that I have not seen done with this particular leader. Chris's Brawlies being able to stand back up after an attack is going to make this a very one-sided bout now that Brian has nothing on the field. However, Brian does have his leader awakened now, which could potentially keep him in the game, but we'll see if that stands to reason. Chris attacking yet again with the Brawly. No combo, but Brian's going to have to start throwing cards to keep himself in. And with that, Brian gets his turn started here. With 2 life left against Chris's 3. Chris has been really able to keep himself in the game so far, and it's actually been pretty interesting because Brian had quite the lead on him for majority of the match. Brian uses the ability of his leader to make him 35k. Attack Declaration allows him to draw a card, and no combo from Brian. Chris is just going to take that one. Brian pays 6 into Zeno. And he bottom decks everything. Ooh, that is rough, especially after Chris invested so much into getting those 3 bodies on board to begin with. Brian plays a Pilaf to then add an Earthling from drop back to hand. Plays the second Pilaf to then add another Pilaf. And then the third Pilaf, adding another Earthling to hand. Go to. It's an interesting way to get more bodies on the board and recover some resources very quickly here. Given Brian's tendency to like to draw things, I'm surprised he has not added the Trunks back to hand to allow him to draw another card. But at this point, Brian just needs more bodies to keep Chris at bay. And now Chris use the twin androids to KO 2 battle cards from Brian's side. That'll definitely put a damper on Brian's ability to combo with battle cards on field. Chris debating utilizing his leader's skill to send an energy to the drop to gain power. Declaring the attack is going to lead, and he will use the skill, removing an energy from his pile to bring it up to 40k. Brian will take it. He's down to one last life. And Chris uses Android 1718, comboing in 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's going all in, because this is the last strike. If he gets this, he wins. $130,000 at lead. Ooh. Brian, he takes it. That was intense. Oh, unreal. Chris was able to come back after being on the ropes for majority of that fight. That was awesome. Everybody was standing by the feature table watching, because this match did last a lot longer than really any of the other games thus far.